Information Security Unit 3 for RGPV exam notes are in comment section. Security analysis. Security analysis is the process of evaluating the security of a system or organization to identify potential vulnerabilities and threats, and to determine the level of risk associated with those vulnerabilities and threats. Here are some key points to keep in mind when conducting a security analysis. 1. Identify assets. The first step in security analysis is to identify the assets that need to be protected, such as data, hardware, software, and networks. 2. Define threats. Once assets are identified, the next step is to define the threats that could potentially harm those assets. 2. This includes both external threats, such as hackers and malware, and internal threats, such as employee misconduct. 3. Evaluate vulnerabilities. After defining threats, the next step is to evaluate vulnerabilities in a system or organization that could be exploited by those threats. 3. This includes weaknesses in physical security, software and network configuration, and user behavior. 4. Assess risks. Once vulnerabilities are identified, the next step is to assess the level of risk associated with each vulnerability. 4. This includes evaluating the likelihood and potential impact of each vulnerability being exploited. 5. Prioritize risks. Once risks are assessed, they must be prioritized based on their level of severity and potential impact. 5. This helps to identify which risks should be addressed first, and which can be mitigated or monitored. 6. Develop strategies. After risks are prioritized, strategies should be developed to address each risk. 6. This includes implementing security controls, such as firewalls and access controls, and creating policies and procedures to guide user behavior. 7. Test and evaluate. Once security controls are implemented, they should be tested and evaluated to ensure that they are effective in mitigating risks. 8. Monitor and review. Security analysis is an ongoing process that requires regular monitoring and review. 8. This includes monitoring for new threats and vulnerabilities, evaluating the effectiveness of existing security controls, and updating strategies as needed. Risk management. Risk management is the process of identifying, assessing, and prioritizing risks, and implementing strategies to reduce, monitor, and control those risks. Here are some key points to keep in mind when conducting risk management. 1. Identify risks. The first step in risk management is to identify potential risks that could impact the organization. 1. This includes both internal and external risks, such as natural disasters, cyber attacks, and employee misconduct. 2. Assess risks. Once risks are identified, the next step is to assess the likelihood and potential impact of each risk. 2. This helps to prioritize risks and determine which risks require immediate attention. 3. Prioritize risks. Risks should be prioritized based on their level of severity and potential impact. 3. This helps to identify which risks should be addressed first, and which can be mitigated or monitored. 4. Develop risk management strategies. Once risks are prioritized, strategies should be developed to address each risk. 4. This includes implementing controls to mitigate risks, creating contingency plans to respond to risks, and transferring risks through insurance or other means. 5. Implement strategies. Risk management strategies should be implemented and tested to ensure their effectiveness in mitigating or controlling risks. 6. Monitor and review. Risk management is an ongoing process that requires regular monitoring and review. 6. This includes monitoring for new risks, evaluating the effectiveness of existing risk management strategies, and updating strategies as needed. Identifying and assessing risk. 1. The first step in identifying and assessing risk is to define the scope of the risk assessment, including the systems, assets, and processes to be evaluated. 2. Next, potential risks should be identified and categorized according to their likelihood and potential impact on the organization. 3. Risk assessment tools and methodologies, such as risk matrices and quantitative risk analysis, can be used to evaluate and prioritize risks. 4. Once risks are assessed, controls should be put in place to mitigate or reduce the risk, or to transfer or accept the risk. Accessing and controlling risk. 1. After risks are identified and assessed, the next step is to implement controls to mitigate or control those risks. 2. Controls can include technical measures such as firewalls and intrusion detection systems, as well as administrative measures such as security policies and procedures. 3. Risk management frameworks, such as the NIST Cybersecurity Framework and ISO 27001, provide guidance on selecting and implementing appropriate controls. 4. Controls should be regularly monitored and tested to ensure their effectiveness in mitigating or controlling risks. 5. Ongoing risk assessments and continuous monitoring can help identify new risks and ensure that controls remain effective over time. Systems. 1. When assessing risks related to systems, it is important to consider both technical and non-technical risks. 2. Technical risks may include vulnerabilities in hardware, software, or networks, as well as the risk of cyber attacks or data breaches. 3. Non-technical risks may include risks related to personnel, such as the risk of employee error or misconduct, as well as risks related to physical security. 4. Systematic approaches to risk management, such as the risk management framework developed by NIST, can help organizations identify and prioritize risks and implement appropriate controls to mitigate those risks. 5. Best practices for system security include maintaining up-to-date software and hardware, implementing strong access controls, and regularly backing up critical data. Access control mechanism. 1. Access control is the process of regulating who can access what resources in a system or organization. 2. Access control mechanisms can be implemented at various levels, including physical, logical, and administrative. 3. Physical access controls may include locks, badges, and other measures to restrict access to physical spaces. 4. Information flow. 5. Information flow refers to the movement of data within and between systems or organizations. 6. Controlling information flow is important for maintaining the confidentiality and integrity of sensitive information. Confinement problem. 1. The confinement problem refers to the challenge of ensuring that a program or process cannot access resources outside of its designated area. 2. The confinement problem is particularly important in multi-user and multi-process systems where users or processes may be running simultaneously and could potentially interfere with one another.